Hey people, what's going on? I am Deep Rock and Puppet and welcome back to my drawing tutorials. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to draw a really cool old school tiger face. It can be like front facing, we've done a side facing one which you guys seem to like, so I'm going to go for the front facing one. I'm going to be using just normal pencil, winsor and brush markers, and a good old sharpie for the outline. It's pretty much it, so you guys can copy of it, any kind of tool you want, it's really easy to follow. So here we go, and go jump straight into it. I'm going to start off with a circle, like this. And then you're going to get a bigger circle going around that, kind of like so. Try to get it roughly even. I find just keep going around the circle so you kind of get it about right. On the side parts here, we're going to have a circle here, draw that down the centre, and try to get roughly about even on the other side. So it kind of fits inside those kind of two gaps. Just like that. Just like that. When it's pretty much about the same size of what this part is here, you might want to go just a little bit over the edge. So imagine if we're on the side bit here, just kind of go up, and each one of those should be roughly about halfway between those circles. It's basically the eyes, and this is where the nose is going to go. From those eyes, just bring the two curved lines like this, coming towards the centre. It's going to give you roughly where you're going to put your nose. So just bring a line across the top, kind of make a sort of triangle, but that's roughly where the nose is going to go. Coming off of this, just going to curve this outwards into that circle. It's going to give you a rough sort of cheek placement, and from here we're going to create these two big sort of sausage shapes. They're going to kind of go over the top, and you want to cut through these circles. It's going to kind of give the tiger like a really cool kind of frown, so it looks kind of angry. Now, which we kind of want, it's what we're going for, so that's what we're going to do. Curve line over the top, just like so. Coming down from the bottom bit here, so coming down from those corners, just there. I'm going to bring these lines down, roughly about to where this circle kind of ends, and you're going to bring a little rectangle box just there, and you're going to get a circle shape coming off the bottom part, just there. So the idea is it's going to be the mouth. So I'm going to bring in another sort of box shape just here, rectangle. It's going to be roughly where those upper teeth go, and just off those lines, just kind of sort of make two short triangle shapes, and that's going to give you roughly where you want your fangs. A bit similar bottom, so just on the edges, going to bring in two triangle shapes. Just either side like that. And the centre part is going to create this little loop. It's going to create a tongue. You can bring the line up from the outside. We'll do some more detail on that, but we'll do that later on. So you can see we're kind of building up the structure now, so it's all kind of making sense. Coming off the side part of this cheek, just here, so off this circle, you want to create this other curve just coming this way. So on this side, just curving like so. And then once you get here, you want to curve this out a touch, and then kind of sort of cut back in towards the edge of that sausage shape we've done. So the idea is we're kind of making this not so much a circular shape, but kind of bringing this out a little bit. So it's got this kind of curve to it. And come off the edge just here, you're going to curve around and loop this around. So curve out, around, like so. And that's going to go roughly where you're going to put your ears. So you see the rough sort of structure is really starting to come together now. So once you've done this, I'm just going to bring in some long V shapes. Going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And they slowly rotate as they go outwards. And do the same on the other side now. Try to get roughly about even. So this one comes down here. This one's going to come across roughly here. This one there. And this one just underneath that eye bit. Just like so. And what I'm going to do just here, I'm going to create two little circles just underneath those eye bits, just there. And it's the basic kind of rough structure now for the face. We've kind of got everything roughly where we kind of need it. Because this is the foundation. You have to have a good foundation to be able to draw the image right. And once you've done that, I can start doing some detailing. So I'm going to come up on the side part here. And when we get to here, I'm going to curve up, curve down, and curve into it, like so. Curve up, curve down, curve into it. Curve up, curve down. So basically, I want 3 little lines kind of coming in either side. Curve up, curve in, curve up, curve in, and you want to slowly rotate them so they're getting a bit more kind of angular the further they kind of go up. On the top parts here, I'm going to bring this curve inwards, bring curve inwards there, and I'm going to bring one just kind of curving over the top. So you're kind of sort of making the sort of the look of the face. So when we've got the nose, we're going to create this curve here. So kind of create the bottom bit just a little bit curved on that triangle. Going to curve outwards and just kind of make a little loop curve outwards, create a little loop like so. And from the top, we're going to curve up and around like this. See, so you've got this nice kind of curve shape to the top now. Again, just try to keep everything nice and even. Now, the more parallel it is, the better it's going to look. Now, don't worry if it's 100% not, parallel. We're sort of just sketching this out. We're just having fun with it, so we'll just see how it goes. So kind of offside, I'm going to bring this little line just out here. And I'm going to make these kind of circle lines just here that kind of fit underneath this line, a bit more defined. And come off the edge, I'm going to bring this line outwards, and that's going to connect up to it. So I want this nice kind of pointy edge just here around the eye. A little dot on the inside, or you can do a strip for like a cat eye. But for my tigers, I tend to prefer to do like a little dot. That's just personal preference. It's really up to you what you want to do with that one. Curve that around like this, and when we've got this line at the top here, I'm just going to bring in these curved lines coming back like that. I'm going to do the same on the other side now, so bring that line across, bring that little line just there. Just reinforce that circle shape we've done. Try to get about the same sort of size as the other one, you don't want them uneven. And then bring that line curving out, connecting with that line just there. And then flick your little lines in, coming across that way. Now the front teeth you can divide up. I'm going to divide these into say 4 or 6. I think I'm going to put 4 in here, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to have a little gap. You can have them connect up. You can go all the way if you want. I like to have a little gap just between them, just between like the teeth and the fangs. So if I'm going to put 4 in that, it really of course sort of depends on how wide you do the mouth. Now you can have it wider or do the teeth smaller. Same at the bottom, so I'm going to put 4 teeth in there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create this little dip just here, so it's going to bump up in this area and curve around, and then I'm going to create another curve, coming around and looping around there. So create this bottom lip, and this bottom lip is going to curve up. I'm going to make this kind of a little bit kind of wavy, and it's going to connect up to that top part, just up there, on the outside of the fang. So let's get a nice kind of structure to it. I'm liking how he's looking. He's looking nice and mean now. So now we're at this stage, I feel I'm going to go into some pen work. Now we've still got some more detailing to do, but now we've got that, I feel comfortable enough to kind of, at this stage I kind of feel comfortable enough that the structure's right. So once you've got the structure right, you can then move into pen. So that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to start off with the nose. So just got my sharpie. I'm just going to go over everything, pretty much what we just done. Try to keep everything nice and smooth if you can. Like so. Let's line down from here. I don't always do it, but sometimes it's good to practice to sort of do one side and then the other side. It kind of helps sometimes to keep that symmetry going. But it's down to you. I tend not to do that too often, to be honest, but I know it can definitely help. In a little curve line just there. So you've got your base for the mouth in there now. And once you've got a base for the mouth, I'm going to bring in the eyes. So with a little curve line just there. Bring in the outside edge of those eyeballs. Curve that around. And get my pupil on the inside. The other side, I'm going to curve around. Put a little line just there. The outside edge of that pupil. Yeah, just there. You know, I've got down, these lines around the outside, so we're just going to start off with a little flick. And I'm just going to keep this flick going. Just a little flick. Keep that flick going. So see, you kind of got that edge around there, so you kind of got that sort of eyebrow effect going on. And once you've got it down, I'm going to get this top part of the head. This is going to curve out and in. I'm going to create this little loop on the inside. It's going to look something like that just for the ear. And now we're shaping to the whiskers. So I'm going to curve this line out. Create that shape down. You can do it just as a single line if you want. When I'm doing tigers, I quite like to leave a little gap just inside them, just so I can kind of throw in a bit of colour in there sometimes. but it's completely up to you. Just keep them going in there, like so. Just like that. And once I've got that done, I'm going to come down, I'm going to do the teeth, and then I'll kind of work around the face. You know, just kind of sort of pick up wherever you kind of fancy, really. I will say, if you do the fangs first, make sure to do the other fang. You want to make sure they're kind of like positioned right. I see some people do sort of a set of fang, do the circle, 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 and then one of the circles kind of sits in front of the other fang, and then it kind of looks a bit weird. I always just say, it's just easier to do both fangs at the same time. And then at the bottom here, I'm going to go curve. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to do this line across the bottom of these teeth, and I'm going to get a thinner pen and just go over the top bit a little bit later on. It just gives a really cool effect. You'll see what I mean when I do it. Now you can just do it all with a Sharpie if you want, but it's worth doing, it gets a really cool effect. So I'm going to get in my fangs just here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's bring this curve up for this tongue. Get this round, I'm going to make this line a little bit kind of wavy in here. Now it's inside the mouth, it's not going to be nice and clean. You're going to get a bit of sort of gum and stuff, so you can add a few extra lines if you want. I might add a little line just there, one just there. I might add some inner teeth in a sec as well, but I'll see once I get to that stage. No, I don't think it will actually. Sometimes you can do. I'll sort of show you what I would do, because I'm going to do this area in black anyway, so it wouldn't make much difference. But if you did, I'll bring a sort of straight line up, and just bring a couple lines across like this, and you kind of get this kind of sort of back tooth kind of feel. I just feel like it's going to be too much teeth for the mouth at this stage, so I'm not going to add those. I'm going to black over those areas, so it doesn't really matter too much if I sort of draw them in now and show you what you can do. Now it's an option you can do, but I'm not going to. Right. So I'm going to create this curve at the bottom just here. And cut off this curve, I'm going to flick these lines around until I come up to that curve we've done here. And the other way around, flick them around. You can try to get your counts to the exact same if you want. I tend to flick them in, I don't really worry too much about getting the exact same numbers. It kind of depends how OCD you want to be with it. I find sometimes if you're a little bit too OCD, it just kind of like distracts you from your target kind of goal for it. And once it's done, I've got this curve around here. And I'm going to do the same sort of thing, so I'm going to do this nice kind of flick effect coming up around this way. I want to start quite low down. So you see that almost kind of sort of like coming down from the bottom. And I'm going to rotate them quite a bit. So by the top, I'm pretty much going to end up just with a line coming in. So just going to do the same on the other side now, just keep flicking them. Get that kind of rotation going. I'm going to bring that second ear. Just curve on that. I'm going to curve that down. And just connect to that line just there. So now we've got this, and we've got the kind of basis for the outline of the face. And once you've got the outline of the face done, we're going to come in. I'm going to get the rubber, if I can find it. Give me 2 seconds, people. There we go. It's going to get me good old putty rubber, and just rub it with that pencil work rubber. And if you're worried about not being able to follow where your teeth go, you can sort of leave your teeth in there just for now. Because remember I said we are going to do those with a smaller liner. But it's completely up to you. I mean, I sort of know roughly where I'm going. I'll leave them in there just so you guys can see, so you guys don't have trouble following them. But yeah, it's a very small little detail, so it's quite easy to remember where they kind of go. Just like this. Cool. So once we've got this done, we can sort of start working out where we're going to put our tiger's stripes. You know, because that's a big and important part of the character of the tiger. You know, it's not going to look like a tiger without it. So what I like to have is a little white patch just underneath the eyes. Just here, like this bit here is going to be sort of fairly white. This is going to be fairly white. A little patch just there, and a bit of white coming down from the chin. And the rest I'm going to have sort of stripes and sort of colour on. So I'm going to keep that in mind while I'm sort of drawing this out. So I'm going to sort of bring this curve just here. And my first tiger stripe, I'm going to have coming off the back of this eye, coming down, wriggling down to about here. And my next one I'm going to curve out. This one I might not have connecting, I might have this one a bit kind of loose. And I'm giving this one a little bit more rotation, just sort of show the kind of curve in the face. You know, because I want to sort of tell that curve. If it's not kind of sort of showing that curve, it's going to kind of like go a little bit against it. My little third one just down there. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. I don't usually put ones down here. You can do if you want. It's just not something that I normally really do, to be honest. I'm going to bring up one stripe just here. So you've got a bit of black just above the eye. Just there. I have the stripe coming across the top of the head. Just like so. I might have a connection to the top of the head, haven't decided yet. You know, I sort of make these up as I go along. I might bring in just a little curve of one just here. A little curve of one just kind of here. You know, you can have them sort of spiked down. I sometimes do them sort of spiked down. You know, again, that's personal preference. But now we've got that, I'm sort of sketching them out roughly on the same side. So I've got that little circle we've done there, and I'm going to mimic that other shape. So it comes down. It comes down to roughly about that point on the cheek where it kind of pokes out. So I'm going to keep that the same sort of point on this side. That goes up into that eye bit. This one doesn't touch the eye. Comes down to about there. And I'll put a little one just there. So I think that's going to do it for my stripes in the background. And once you've got your stripes in there, we can go black. I'm going to pretty much black out all the stripes. So I'm not worried too much about them. You can put a little shade in there if you want to, but you know, there are tiger stripes, and tiger stripes are generally quite black. You know, and with old school, you wouldn't normally add the shine inside them, so you would normally just black them out. You know, but like I said, some rules are meant to be broken. It's worth trying sometimes if you think you can do it right. You know, worst comes to worst, you do it, doesn't work, and you know next time not to do that. It's really, pretty much all that is really. So I'm going to bring this line coming across, and just dip down a touch, back over there. Do I want any colour showing at the top of that? Yeah, I think I'm going to have a tiny little space at the top, just to kind of sort of show that it is actually still a stripe going in that area. Side curve bits down. The reason I'm leaving this kind of sort of little negative space is just so it's clear that it's a tiger. I might make this come to a bit of a point actually. I quite like how that looks. You know, but tiger stripes are really kind of sort of personalised to the tiger, so you can really play around with them. You know, make them any kind of shape you want. The only thing I will say, and actually, you probably don't want to make them dead perfect smooth. You know, you want to kind of look at them have a little bit kind of wave and shape to them. You know, because tiger stripes are not perfectly smooth. Come down and just make sure I don't go over any part of the whiskers that's got a bit of showing. Bring my secondary line just here. I can kind of go over this part of the whiskers because it's just pure black inside it, so it wouldn't make any difference. Now if it had a little bit of the white section just in here, then obviously I wouldn't want to go over those areas. But it doesn't, so I'm not too bothered about that. A little stripe down there. I don't normally do little stripes, but I quite like how that one looks. So again, just bring down this side, so you just get like a nice bit of symmetry kind of going here. Once I've done these, you know, up, you know, I might come with like a thinner pen and just get some nice kind of sort of sharp points on the edge, which you can do if you want as well. And you'll see me doing that, so you sort of see how I do that and how I approach that. So see on this side, I kind of sort of brought that white bit out a little bit more, so I'm not going to go over that particular whisker there. But that one there doesn't make much difference. Bring that one up there. Like so. So we've got like a nice kind of flow going here. I'm going to bring in, I think, a line just here and just here. So I want these little spaces just inside the eyes to be red. Just like that. Now we've got it done, I'm going to come in with my fine liner now. My fine liner is just a uni pin fine liner. You can pretty much get these everywhere. I'm going to use a 0.8 thickness. It's still a little bit chunky, but it's much thinner than, say, the Sharpie is, so it stands out really nice. You just want to make sure it is thinner than the Sharpie. You know, I mean, you're going to have a hard time finding a Unipin fine liner or one that's a bit chunkier, because the Sharpie is very chunky. But yeah, you can use like a 0.8, 0.4, 0.1 if you want. It's really down to you. There's basically just the different sizes of it. So you've got the little tiger teeth in there. And now we've got it done, I want to get these little circles. I'm going to do these with this just here. So I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 on that bottom bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now as I get to the end, I get very thin. Sometimes I just put a little dot for the last ones. Depends how much thinner it gets, really. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Try again even if you can, you know, if you've sort of gone a bit too much over and it's taking up too much space, then kind of leave one out. Sometimes it's better for it to be uneven if too much is going to like overlap certain areas. You know, it depends on how kind of symmetric you've been when drawing it, really. So I'm just looking now, I just want to get 2 little lines. I'm going to get 1 just coming in here, 1 just in there inside the mouth. It makes sense as we shade it. I'm just looking at it, I just kind of feel like it's going to need that part just there. So now we've got done, I'm going to come into my black and grey shading. For this, I'm going to use my brush markers, I'm going to use my black, and I'm going to use my grey tones. I'm going to use these ones. They're the soft ones, the cool grey. You can get like warm colours and cold colours. I generally prefer the cold colours a minute, but I switch between them. What you want to do, I'm going to show you the real simple way of using them. So I'm going to say for this nose to begin with, I'm going to get black, say across this top bit, and a bit of black across this bottom. I basically want to get this kind of highlight through the centre. So what I'm going to do is each time I do the black first, then I'm going to come in with my darkest kind of grey. So whichever one's your darkest grey, I'm going to go over the edge until it kind of blends a little bit. As soon as it starts to blend, just let it do its trick. Don't go over it too much. You know, because it will carry on doing it a little while after you sort of finish. Make sure you get some good paper as well. If you're using like printer paper, you're going to have a bit of a hard time using markers and just generally a hard time in general, because you know printer paper is just not a very good product, especially for art. You know, this kind of paper isn't expensive. It's just like Bristol board. I just get off Amazon. So I highly recommend it. You know, but yeah, you'll notice a big massive difference between using good quality stuff and the cheap quality stuff. You know, I mean, you don't have to splash out loads of money, but I highly recommend getting this because it's just so much more practical for an artist. You know, if you're using watercolors or stuff, you can get watercolor paper as well. You know, I really do like using that. You know, but yeah, just generally something that's a bit thick. You know, you want a bit of thickness to your paper. You know, I'm not sure the exact thickness of this is, but yeah, it's pretty chunky. So I'm gonna, yeah, it's just like I've done on the top part of the nose. Just blending out, just getting these inside parts of the gum. I'm gonna do the same part on the bottom part of the lip now. So I'm gonna get black coming in from this side, black coming in from this side. Bring that a fair bit across. And then we get a nice quick transition so it gets a little light just in the centre of it. A lot of time I'm doing a lip, I generally leave like a sort of strip coming across. But for this one, I just think it's going to look really nice because I've done the same effect on the side. So sometimes it's nice to carry for a pattern. You know, sometimes you can break that, you know, but yeah, I just think it's going to look really nice this way because I've got the same pattern on the sides. So yeah. So you've got this nice kind of black lip kind of effect going on here, which I really like. And once I've got that done, where am I going to go to next? Then I'm going to put a tiny bit of black just inside this gum, but very, very small amounts. I'm just going to put just a bit on the tip here, fade this out very quickly, just a very quick transition. When using the markers, you can go through all your grey tones if you want, you know, because like with this set, there's 4 of them. It's got like, you know, CG4, 3, 2, 1. 1 obviously being the lightest. If you use all of them, you're going to get the best gradient. But you've probably seen me a few times, I tend to skip a colour every now and again if it's a very small section. I just don't feel like it always needs it necessarily. So I'm going to black out those side bits where we've done those teeth that I didn't want. A little bit of black just here inside this mouth section. Just there. I'm going to put a little bit of black just underneath this tongue. So I'm going to kind of mimic that shape of the tongue, so I've got this nice kind of curve, and I'm going to fade up from that curve. So just start with the grey at the top, I'm going to bring that across. So just go across until you see it start to blend. Once it starts, just stop. Same with this bottom bit, just go across it. Once you see it starts to blend, just stop. Now it's going to keep going through the grey tones. Just blending down there, blending up from here. You've got to remember as well, a lot of this kind of grey we're going to go over with a colour tone as well. So if you really overwork it now, you're going to have a bit of a hard time when you sort of transition to your other colours. So now I've got this done, I'm going to get black again. I want to go black in this part just here above the eye. I want to get this nice black section here. It's going to really sort of tell the frown. So I want to get that just going this way. Up. And just keep this going. It's all about sort of trying to sort of tell the shape of the face now, you know. The dark area is just really going to help with that, so it's important to do this. Now, if you sort of try drawing a picture without the shading, it's going to look nice, but it's not going to look nowhere near as good as it would with the shading. So I want to get a shadow across the top of the head, a very quick transition shadow, just coming down. I'm not going to use the greys for this bit, I'm not going to use the blacks, I don't want a hard black edge to the tip of it. I just want enough where it's going to sort of darken my colour when I apply that. Just so it makes the head, you can see already it's got that kind of sort of sense of 3D-ness where it kind of feels like it's kind of curved. You know, that's the look that I'm going for there. So now I've got this done, I'm going to go this little bit just here around the mouth. I'm going to use that grey again. I'm not going to go black for it. I might put in just a fraction of black possibly, but I don't think I'm going to. I don't want to sort of rule that out, but I don't think I'm going to. Again, it's just going to make that mouth just feel a little bit forced. So again, it's just kind of working with a sense of 3D-ness without it being 3D. Because obviously it's old school, we don't want to make it realistic. You know, old school is not about being realistic. You know, it's the kind of style of it, it's the stylized element that we're looking for. I'm going to bring this across to this section just here. I'm just going to fade down just from those tips. I don't want to go very far though, because a lot of this outside bit is going to be different. So I'm going to go like that. And then where else am I going to go? Put a bit of grey tone just inside this inside part of the mouth. You know, most of that will disappear when we add the colour. I might bring that black across just on this side, because it's a little bit kind of heavy on one side, not on the other. There we go. And I think lastly for the black and grey, I'm going to add a little bit just here inside each one of these sections. The bottom bit I'm just doing it in the middle. The ones from above I'm just kind of going from behind that line we done. And just leaving a little highlight edge on the outside part. And a little bit just on here. And just a little fraction just there on the tip of that nose bit, that'll blend out. Hope you don't drop your pens. There is a blender marker as well, which you can use to blend stuff out. I've got to be honest, I very rarely ever use it. I might give it a go on one of the colours just to sort of demonstrate what you can do with it. But like I said, it's something that I very rarely ever use myself, to be honest. I don't feel like you need it. I prefer to transition colour into colour. But yeah, if you want to give it a go, you know, feel free. It usually comes with the most sets you buy. Just a few last little elements on a little bit just here inside these brows. Just flicking outwards. Just like that. And is there any more I want to do? I might put a little bit of shade. So I'm going to put a little bit of shadow just around the outside edge, just here, kind of fading up. I'm just going to kind of go over those outside lines just there. I'm not going in with a black for this one though. Because I want it very, very light, I just don't want the black to overpower it. And sometimes it does look very nice with it, but yeah, it's just not the effect I'm kind of going for today. So a little bit just there, and I'm going to go just a little bit again, just on that outside edge. Just there and there. Now personally, it's one of those areas where a lot of time you can just leave completely blank and it looks really good. Yeah, just have to play around it yourself and just see if that's the kind of thing you want, really. So now we've got that done, I'd say that's pretty much all the black and grey shading done in the face. So now we've got that done, I'm going to my colours. I'm going to get my colours out. I'm just using the Winsor 48 brush marker set. It's a really cool set. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, I just recommend them, you know, I recommend what I like. I think they're pretty good, so I definitely recommend it. I'm going to use these colours, so I'm going to get amber out, I'm going to get the orange out. I might possibly go into a yellow, so I might get a yellow out possibly. I'm going to use the dusty pink to blend out a bit of it. I'm going to use fire bricks, absolutely love that colour. And then what else am I going to use? I'm going to use lilac on a couple of bits. The red berry inside the mouth and stuff. And I might use a touch of blue, but I'm going to dull that colour down quite a bit if I use it. You've probably seen me use it before, but yeah, if I use it, I'll dull it down quite a lot. So yeah, these will be the colours I think I'll be using. So I'm going to start off with my red, my orange, my fire brick, my orange, and my amber. So I'm going to use this just to start blending off, you know, the skin tone. Yeah, so I'm going to start off with the fire brick at the top. So the fire brick's going to be my dark tone, so I'm going to use that on the edges. I don't come too far across with it. I want the yellow to be the main one. So like, I'm going to come to about there with the fire brick. Then come in with the orange. Blend over the orange. I like to make sure I start with the orange inside my kind of sort of grey tones. I just find it helps make a really nice good transition between the fire brick to that, because it's, again, it just darkens up the orange before you get to that pure orange. Which is kind of what we want. And then once you get to the edge, I'm going to go straight into the amber. Just to give a little bit of highlight. Just in certain bits. Now, I mean, the amber, I generally use the amber as a yellow, but the amber is quite strong, so if you're using it against orange, it just looks very orange, so it's worth using it on those bits. Just coming down from those ears. Just like so. Just looking that down. Now, so I want most of it to be yellow rather than, most of it orange rather than yellow. So we've got that there. Now I'm going to come in from this bit. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off just flicking in a little bit just here. Around the mouth. And what I want to do is just put a little bit on the back of each one of these stripes. Just a really thin layer, just so a little bit sort of shows after it. Except for this bottom one, I'm going to do this corner because I want to be fairly white down here, so I don't want to go too much over that. It's a really cool thing. I saw it done a few times in the past from other people, and I just really love this effect. I just think it works really nicely, and I've been pretty much doing it since then, really. So once you've got it done, I'm going to bring in the orange. And for this bit here, underneath the nose bit, because it's fairly dark in this area, I'm just going to join this up. But then what I'm going to do for the next bit, I'm going to go blend over the orange and leave a little gap so I can sort of put in a bit of the amber tone just before I touch the next stripe. And same on this outside part here, I want to go orange and leave a little space before I can use my amber tone. Just like that. And then come in with that amber. Just going to fill in those gaps. Just going to flick that down towards the mouth area. Just like so. So you got that bit done. And then the other areas I want to get done are just here, so I'm going to get a fire brick on these bits. Fire brick in there. Get my orange. I don't want to go over that little highlight edge with the orange. So I'm going to leave that little space just there, and I'm going to use the amber on that bit. So leave the little highlight area, and then boom, hit that with the amber. You know, you can add a little bit underneath the chin if you want, just here. Again, it's something that I don't usually do, but it's one of those ones that looks good down there as well. After I've got that done, that's my skin tones done, and now I'm going to hit it with the reds. You know, I know where I want my reds, and I want some red in the nostril. I know I want red behind this eye, and this is the red berry that I'm using. I'm going to use this on a few areas as well, that I'm also going to change the colour of it. You're going to see what I mean by that. So I'm going to come around here, I'm kind of around this tongue, and I've left that little highlight edge just around it. So the corner bit just there. Actually, I'm going to fold in those side bits, I think. So I'm going to bring the red down to about here. I'm going to go over this little gum area just here as well. Now, but the good thing with markers, now, you can kind of layer them up and change the colours, which you're going to see me do in 2 seconds. Firstly, what I'm going to do, actually, let's get one more colour out that I kind of missed. I want to get a pink, a very soft pink, just to kind of blend out the edge of this red. Just go in there. A little bit stronger one, so I'm going to fade this down. Bottom part of his mouth. Now, when fading the colour, you basically just want to get the next colour down for me. You know, that's very close to the colour, and then just kind of extend that to the area that you want. So those in there. So that's pretty much most of the face generally done. So I'm going to get red also in these ears. Nice and bold. Sometimes I put pink in the ears, but what I'm doing, I'm going to show the colour. So I basically got this done, and then what I'm going to get is get me blue. So that nice blue we had, and then the blue, I'm going to go over the top very quickly on that little gum section just there. It then turns out purple. I'm going to bring a little stripe of it just in here. So leave a little red edge on the outside, so it gets a little purple stripe into the red edge. I might flip just a little bit, just from this bottom corner up, and then those little bits in the background, just there. It just creates another tone, another colour, which looks really nice. And now we've got that done, I want to come in with the Enchanted Lilac. I always call it Enchanted Lilac, because Enchanted Lilac's a tattooing colour that I use. It's not, it's just called Lilac. Sorry, force of habit. And I'm just going to kind of go over the grey tones we used, and I'm going to flick this in here. You know, I love doing this, it just kind of gives the grey a bit of kind of colour and a bit more kind of life. Rather than just being like a flat kind of black grey colour, just creates a little bit more. And when doing this on this kind of area, I tend to use either the lilac, or I sort of tend to hit sometimes with a soft blue. Looks really nice as well. Just going to flick this in, so it's going to get and kind of flick it in these areas. You know, it dries up pretty much next to nothing, so it's very nice to use. Going to go over some of those edges and the dark bits around here. You know, it's very, very subtle. You might not be able to tell it properly on here, but it's definitely worth using. A little bit just in that white section just underneath the eyes. And I might do a little bit just inside these whiskers for now. I think I'm going to add a touch bit of blue in those just to make those stand out. I'm going to go blue, and then I'm going to add a little bit of grey tone just to dull them down, because I don't want it to be too strong. And then I'm going to get the lilac just once more. I just want to put a little flick just down the fang, just a touch on the fang. You can put a little bit in between each tooth if you want. You don't have to, they look nice, really nice white. When I'm sort of doing panthers and stuff and like the other animals, I tend to do the teeth yellow sometimes, but because there's a lot of orange and yellow, I'm not going to do that in this one, because I feel like it would be too much yellow in my opinion, so I don't want to do that. And then lastly, I want to do the eyes. I think I want the eyes green, but what I'm going to do is go blue first. Add this blue around the eye, which I really like. You can leave a little highlight shine if you want on the side. And then what I'm going to do is come over this with yellow, amber. It kind of gives this really nice green tone that I like. Give a little yellow edge around the outside. I leave a little highlight just in the corner. I usually leave a bigger highlight, but I think that little highlight looks good. Just like so. And then if you want, you can give it another dose of the blue off the edge if you just want a little bit more on the blue spectrum. Just that kind of stands out. Yeah, it just gives like a really nice, lovely effect to the eyes, which I really like. And just get your rubber to make sure every little bit of pencil is gone. So you can see I've got a little bit left in the teeth just there. Just a little bit on the whiskers. And that's it, people. That's how you draw a tiger face. I hope you like it. You know, so I've got another tiger tour as well. You know, we really like this one with a bit more of an angle. But yeah, that's how you do it. You know, if you're new to my channel, make sure you click subscribe. Give this video a like if you can. You know, I really appreciate. You know, likes and comments really help these videos kind of get noticed. You know, it's really appreciate when you guys do. If you don't know, just cheers for watching. You know, and I hope it helps. If you do post it on social media, make sure you tag me. I love seeing what you guys draw. You know, even if it's something you're sort of not really proud of, whatever, now just tag me. I love seeing what you guys do. You know, I usually comment as well, so you never know, you might get a comment from me. I'm not saying it's anything special, you know, but yeah, you might get a comment from me. But for now, people, I'm the Broken Puppet, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Got ink on my finger.